Good morning, everyone. Lord, I don't know about you all, but I think webcam is becoming the new way of life, that and Zoom. So I'm actually starting to kind of figure these things out. I'll probably haven't figured out about the time we all go back to the office. So thank you again to all of you who have agreed to be on the call. Before I introduce Alex, I want to just say a few words about a conversation I had yesterday with Governor Ron DeSantis about where we are, and it looks like, now don't hold me to this because you know about the time you say it, something changes, but so long as the numbers stay good and we track along this week the way we have been trending, then I think by Friday he will be ready to announce the opening of phase 2, and phase 2 will at a minimum put all of our members at 50% occupancy, again with outdoor seating being not only available, but his encouragement to have local mayors do things like Tampa did and Jacksonville is about to do, and that's to close some of the streets and allow our restaurants to put their tables out, maybe even further out on the sidewalk or even into the streets. So we're pretty excited about that. Palm Beach did open Monday, and hopefully the governor believes that there's a good chance that Dade and Broward will be announcing that they will open next Monday as well. Sheldon and I have been having conversations about Monroe County, and we're hoping that we can get the pressure put on the mayor there to get Monroe County opened up for business again. Sheldon's been working on that very hard, and Sheldon, we appreciate your efforts there. So we have some wonderful speakers today. I'm super excited about Anthony joining us, but my first point of business is to introduce our sponsor from Cintas, whom we greatly appreciate, Ms. Alex Goodwiller. Alex, would you like to start? And thank you for your sponsorship. We appreciate you.
Hey, Carol, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for kicking us off this morning, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in this morning. I think I can speak for everyone on the line here that we all appreciate everything that you're doing right now for supporting our community, and FRLA has really just been a backbone for all of us. So I want to thank you for that. My name is Alex Goodwiller. I am a Florida hospitality account manager at Cintas, and I'm joined by an amazing group of panelists today. Super, super excited. First, we have Justin Bongiorno, who is my partner at Cintas. He's a global accounts manager from our first aid and safety division. Justin, how you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Excited to be on.
Good, we're excited to have you. Next on the list, we have Geoff, who's the Senior VP in Education and Training at FRLA. Geoff, do we have you on the line?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm going to stay in the background and be available for Q&A after the main part of the program. Thank you, Alex.
Perfect, Geoff. We appreciate that. And then next, we have Hoefen, who is the GM at the AC Marriott in Tampa. Aaron, how you doing? How's it going over there in Tampa?
Thank you, Alex. Good morning, everybody. And I'll be bringing a perspective of a hotel that has stayed open through this.
Beautiful, beautiful. We can't wait to hear. And then next on our list, we have Sheldon Suga, who's the VP and Managing Partner of Hawks Bay Resort, and also the FRLA 2020 Chairman of the Board. We're super excited to have you, Sheldon. How are you? How's it going down in the Keys?
Doing great, Alex. You know, just can't wait to open.
We can't wait either. I can't wait to get back down there. And last but not least, we have Anthony Melchiorri, a hospitality expert and host of Travel Channel's Hotel Impossible. Anthony's been an incredible partner to Cintas, HLA, FRLA. He's just been an amazing partner over the years. So Anthony, I think the last time I saw you was down in Miami on stage for a Cintas fashion show at the marketing summit. So it's good to see you again.
I tell you, Cintas, I have the most fun. As I travel around the country and the world, every time I'm with Cintas, I always have the most fun. I don't know why. You guys are just fun people.
We're a fun bunch.
And I want Geoff
We
to talk
are.
because Geoff sounds like he's on a CB radio, and I remember the old CB radios. That's what he sounded like. So I'm excited to be here. And listen, I have been working with you guys for a long time, and it's always great to be with the association. I've spoken to you guys before, and we've never been here before, so it's going to be an interesting hour.
I agree. We're really excited to have you on the line and hear your perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off today. We have hundreds of hoteliers on the line listening in, and I think everybody is wondering, what are the top 3 things that hoteliers should be doing right now today?
Well, I do a show on LinkedIn, a live show every day at noon. And I've been very fortunate to have every CEO from every major brand, it seems like. We had one yesterday from Best Western, and we're going to have a surprise guest this week. And one of the things that is that my, I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I don't know if you guys can shut the mics off for a second. Did you guys hear that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, every day I'm talking to people around the world, around the country, all heads of brands and general managers that kept their hotels open and closed their hotel. And basically, when people start coming back, as you said, in Florida, there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and every state's going to have a different, it's going to start differently. New York City, as everybody knows, we've got hit the worst, and we're still closed. We're on lockdown, and we're waiting to see if May 15th is the day it opens. So as we open gradually, the number one thing we have to do is we have to market and explain to people what it is we're doing and how we're opening, way before they come to your hotel, way before they even think about booking a reservation. As soon as they click on the internet and they look for a hotel, because people want to travel, and everybody's talking about that pent up demand that everybody's going to just want to go. We need to explain to them. So whether it be through social media, with a website, what are you doing to keep everyone safe? Because it's not about service anymore. It's about hygiene. Hygiene is the new service. It is the new comfort. That's what it's the new luxury, as we've been saying. It's what everybody will be reviewing us on. So before people review us on amenities and service, now everybody will be reviewing us on hygiene. So you got to get that out there. And then when they get to your hotel, where's the signage? What are we doing? Where are the markers? Are we social distancing? Are we wearing masks? What am I supposed to do as a guest? So I think transparency, authenticity, and honesty. Whereas before this happened, if somebody was like, right as this was happening, if somebody wore a mask or somebody was social distancing, it happened to me with a neighbor. It's like, wait, you don't want to come close to me? But now everybody understands what we have to do to keep everybody safe, and you have to do that in signage. And then third, one of the things that we've done in this industry, whether it be restaurants, bars, or hotels, is we always cleaned at night. We always cleaned behind the scenes. Nobody ever saw. The imagery of perfection is what we tried to do as an industry. It's, if you came to my room, you don't want to see a housekeeper or a houseman. You don't want to see anyone walking the halls when I walk into my room. I want to see that no one's ever been in that room before. I want that fantasy. Now we need to show people that we're doing more, whether it be a houseman, whether it be someone cleaning, whether it be whatever mechanism you're using to clean. People want to see that more. So those are really the 3 stages that I'm hearing from everyone across the globe on what the 3 most important things that we should be doing as hospitality experts. And again, that's right now. That doesn't mean that's what it's always going to be like, but right now to give confidence, because right now we get this wrong and we have a problem. Right now, if we hear somebody in New York doing it wrong or somebody in Florida doing it wrong, and we've seen it all the news outlets, and there's some areas that some people are going rogue and doing things wrong, that's going to hurt all of us as an industry. So we've got to do it right, and we've got to be transparent, and we've got to communicate. And that's what we're doing every single day at noon on LinkedIn, is we're trying to communicate what the leaders in this industry are doing. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Absolutely.
Alex?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I just want to make sure no one responded. I thought that was pretty good. Okay. So Sheldon, we're going to go to Sheldon. What are you doing? What's your areas of focus before you open a property? What are you really focusing on?
Well, you already explained, the biggest thing is hygiene. We're going to market hygiene. We're going to sell it. And we start with our staff. We have to show our staff that we care about them and show them the right way of hygiene, of practicing cleaning, and then they'll pass it on in the front. We don't have to always be on top of them. I think they'll learn behavior from us, and we have to show that we care about them and they'll care about our guests. So the focus is not just housekeeping. It's not just, our front desk. It's really restaurants. It's at our pools. It's, it's spas when they open. It's every part of our resort that we have to pay attention.
I think that's critical, that the employees are the most important to getting us not only open, but to making our guests feel safe. Because if they don't feel safe, if you give them a line and say, okay, this is what you're going to say, but they don't feel safe, that's not going to come through, and that's not going to be authentic. And I kind of ask you the same question. What safety measures are you taking to instill confidence? Because you're guests, and you're seeing guests and employees every single day.
Right. So great question, and Sheldon, great answer there. I think it starts with a really good documented plan, but understanding that plan is going to evolve every single day. We learn something every single day that we go back. I was cleaning out my inbox and went back a couple of days. I'm like, oh my God, it's irrelevant now. But sharing that plan with the team and making sure that they buy in. They've had great recommendations. They've come back. They found holes in distancing and those types of things. Are coming back saying, hey, if we moved out this area, if we did this or did that, it makes it more effective. But when they fully buy in, then they can sell it to our guests. So specifically, you look at the visible side. You talked about being very visible in what we're doing, having people front and center, housemen in areas and cleaning. So some of those things are when you're coming in, signage talking about social distancing, and also the social distancing and floor markers, plexiglass at the front desk to be able to shield when somebody may get too close, and then visible cleaning in public areas and making sure that that's visible as well. A good routine of doing that. But then the invisible side of it. So you talked about in rooms, you did want to feel like nobody was in the room prior, but now you want to see that activity. You want to know it was there. But we know that sanitization, distance, and time are probably the biggest factors right now in getting it right. And in those, when we talk about getting into the room, when a guest departs, if you're checking a guest in that very same day, you're not taking advantage of some of those things. As hotels are slow, we have the ability to add additional time in. So for my operation here, what we do is the day somebody checks out, all we're doing is poking our head in and making sure that we're doing a wellness check and making sure that they truly did depart. Then we're waiting 24 hours before the team actually goes into the room. First thing we're doing from there is stripping the room, getting everything out of it, obviously wearing proper personal protective equipment. And then after we get everything stripped out, instead of going directly to the cleaning, we want to keep the team safe. So we're taking in a fogger, or hopefully in the near future, a different type of device, but we're going in and fogging the room with sanitizer. We're then waiting an hour for that to be effective. We know it's effective a lot faster than that, but give it a full hour before the team goes in and does a thorough cleaning and sanitizing per the standards like we used to, but more thorough. Then after the room is fully cleaned and ready to go, we are going back in with a unit that uses UV light to, again, give that extra level. Then the biggest piece is once that's done, we're waiting 48 hours before we check somebody back into it. Now, this works when we're slow, but as we get higher occupancies, we're going to have to shrink that time. But until we know that it's safe and we've got procedures that people have confidence in, we want to make sure that we're adding that additional time as well.
Well, I'll tell you, that seems like that's right from the playbook. I mean, you're doing everything. I hope that everyone else is paying attention, because that makes me feel safe, and that makes me want to go to your hotel. And more importantly, that's going to be transmitted on the internet, and everyone's going to read that. and everyone's going to say, wow, I really felt safe. And 80% of that, the guest is not going to see. That's why it's so important for you to really talk about it, whether it be through video or whether it be through signage. You know, Alex, Cintas has been a great partner of the industry for a long time. That's why I partnered with you for so long. What are you doing to prepare our industry to reopen in hospitality? What is Cintas doing? I know I have conversations with them almost weekly, but why don't you tell the audience what Cintas is doing to help us?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Anthony, and I appreciate you asking. Everything in our world has changed. You know, over the last couple months, our entire world has changed, and we've shifted all of our resources to really come alongside our customers to reopen their doors. So a few things that kind of jump out, the big three that we've been hearing a lot about. Number one, hand sanitizer. It's funny, we're known as the uniform company, but we've actually been in the hygiene business for 20 years. You know, now that hygiene is the new luxury, this is something that we can provide. We have great partnerships where we can provide this for our customers. Then face masks is another thing that kind of jumps out. We have a few options for purchasing face masks. We have the disposable masks, which have been really popular for providing guests as they check into their room. We have a cloth offering where our design collective team is working on some really fashion-forward cloth masks with logos and some really fun designs. And then we have a rental offering, which is something we're super excited about. I think we're the first to offer this. So we provide a service weekly. We drop off clean masks and we pick up the dirties, which really takes the burden off the property and ensures that that the employees have a clean mask to wear every single day. And then third on the list, a buzzword we've all been hearing a lot is electrostatic spray. So a lot of the brands are talking about this. We've been hearing about it all over the place. And what we're also hearing, our customers are telling us these machines are difficult to find. The chemicals are difficult to find. The PPE, personal protective apparel that the employees need to be wearing to utilize these chemicals is difficult to find. And then training, how do we train our employees to use these chemicals both safely and effectively? So that's where Cintas comes in. We're here to help save the day by offering an actual service where we come out to the property. We can set this up on any sort of frequency, weekly, every other week, monthly. And the coolest thing is, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk about what we can do to show our guests and to show our employees that we're you know, taking those extra steps. Cintas has signage and proof of service to really help put those guests at ease. So the hotelier is still going to have to maintain those daily in-house cleaning standards, but now also together, teamed up with Cintas, we're taking that clean to the next level. And then I want to touch on a couple other quick things. The Foot Shield mask. This is a new innovative solution that Cintas is offering. We've all been hearing a lot from the CDC that viruses can live on the soles of shoes. So how do we ensure that those viruses and that bacteria stays out of our hotels? So Cintas has created a new floor mat that contains a cleaning solution. So when you step on the mat, it removes all of those contaminants before entering the property. So this is, you know, been a really popular new option that can be used for various placements around the property. And then last but not least, I really want to bring it back to our core business, our uniform rental service. You know, this is something that Cintas has done for so many years. This is where it all started for us. And we're hearing from our customers that they don't want their uniforms to leave the building. You have to think about this. Anything that the employee takes home is then being taken into their house, into their car, into their bus, on the bus route. That then comes back into the property. And vice versa, whatever the employee faces at the property and comes in contact with at the property, then they take that home to their families. So If you truly want a clean and sanitized environment, Cintas offers a solution where we clean, sanitize, and deliver those uniforms to the property every week. So those uniforms are never leaving the building. And truly, if you want that environment, this is the safest way to do it. So, like I said, Anthony, we've really shifted everything to put ourselves in a position to help, and we're just excited to be in that position.
It's Cintas is a one-stop shop. Period. I've been talking about it for a long time. I don't work with anybody. I say no more than I say yes to most things. And what I always felt, because I've been working with Cintas for 30 years in my career, everywhere I've been, and it's like if you pop open the roof of a hotel and you look in, every place that you look in the hotel, you need something that Cintas provides. So thank you very much for saying that. And also, when I'm on the show, a guest or an owner will be looking at a certain area, say, not to bring up BBs, but say they're looking for bed bugs but they don't look at the housekeeping. They don't send the bed bug dog to the housekeeping office. And it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you're lurking here. We're lurking at the front. We're social distancing. We're doing everything we can. But then how about the uniforms? How about the shoes? I mean, there's so many things to think about as a general manager. And one of the things that I've seen over the years is when people try to do it themselves, it doesn't work. And that's why you need a professional like Cintas. So thank you very much. Sheldon, what are you most concerned about as you reopen? Like, what is the number one thing that keeps you up at night?
I think it's just everyone following the right protocols every single day. And I can go to things like the temptation to go back to buffets. Well, the buffets, I believe, in our industry are gone. And the day of helping yourself and serving yourself, we've already gone away from that. I think it changes. People are going to have to get used to the new normal, that there's no in-room dining the way we're used to seeing, at least in the short term, where deliveries will be dropped off at your door. I think that we take a look at, our pool areas, that we're going to have half the space available to our guests or half the number of chairs available. And these are the things that we're going to have to, we say you can never educate the public, but I think that the public's going to be open to this. I think they want to be in a safe environment. And so the same thing, and I'll reiterate, is that we have to follow the practices. I think by not following practices out there, I applaud, Alex bringing up the rental uniform program. We use it here at Hawks Cay. It's a big thing for us. We ensure that our staff aren't carrying home things, and vice versa. They're not bringing things from their home environment into the hotel. So yeah, I think that those are the things that, it's people behavior that we've got to watch. And we're going to open smartly. We're going to have a lot of signage, as was talked about. It's important that we're going to have lobby monitors. We're going to have monitors at the pool to actually assist people in staying with those behaviors. So, you can't always control humans, but I think we need to at least guide them as much as possible.
I think, if you look at other countries, people are like, well, they're doing things this way. Well, America's a free country, right? But with being a free country and having free will, you have to be accountable to each other, right? And I think that's what this is teaching us, is you can put all the procedures in place that you want, but we have to be accountable to each other. And I think if a guest is upset about one of those procedures, I think other guests will hold them accountable, because this isn't about your hotel. This is about everyone's safety. And I think that's important. And Justin, I know Alex was talking about certain areas. What did you want to bring to, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Aaron and Sheldon are talking about, right, is that we're focused on helping them with guest confidence. So we're looking at three aspects. We're looking at personal protective equipment needs. We're looking at sanitization needs, as well as property needs. So helping them achieve that social distancing by, having floor decals available for their lobbies or common areas, right? Also making sure that we're bringing the products that they need to protect their employees, to make sure that they feel safe in the environment, as well as the guests, with disposable masks, or we have, disposable glove, contactless thermometers, the disinfectant wipes. So everything that, Sheldon and Aaron are needing to operate and reopen is really where Cintas is. And I think the hotel industry maybe never looked at Cintas from a first aid and safety perspective and being able to help them with that. but that's the core of our business. I mean, that's something that we do across the country for our customers. And, you know, we're really bringing everything that they're needing and from a critical products perspective, but then also bringing that with a service behind it. So it's not just the commodity of the product, it's the service as well.
You know, it's funny when people ask me questions, and I get asked all the time. It's like, where do I get this? Where do I get this? And I say Cintas, and almost 100% of the time they'll say, I didn't know they do that.
Yeah.
So great point.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are you looking for from vendors, not just Cintas, but vendors in general right now? Because we're focusing on, you know, obviously the cleanliness and the hygiene, which is critical, but also from a bottom line standpoint, you know, you need to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do. So from overall, from what are you looking for from vendors? How can they best service you?
Well, number one is partnership, and it's amazing during a time like this when you find out what partners are made of, right? So initially it was flexibility, right? We need flexibility. We understand we've got whether contracts or whatever's out there. Here's the normal level of service. Here's what we were doing, but we had to flip literally overnight and do things entirely different. And you talk about we're talking about all the extra things we're trying to do right now, but the reality is we're also at a very, very low occupancy, historic low occupancies, and we're trying to deliver to stakeholders, or in this case, trying to absorb as little as possible, right? So we're looking for the flexibility, but then with a product or service, we really need to see, and it needs to be demonstrated, how is this going to bring additional safety and security to my guests and my associates, and ideally, more efficiently.
Right, absolutely. And I think that again, I have to breathe to keep going the same drum, but not only flexibility, but visibility and transparency and authenticity. We can't hide from this. This is out there. And, you know, if we go back really, really quickly and we don't do it right, what was the point of sitting down? Because the one thing that our industry cannot absorb, it can't absorb another body blow. It cannot absorb us to have to sit back down for another 2 or 3 months. We just, as an industry, we can't do that. So partnering with people like Cintas, companies like Cintas, and doing it the right way the first time is to me, is critical. And day one, as soon as this happened, and I was like, okay, I don't have a plane ticket in my name for the first time in 10 years. What do? We literally turned on the computer and said, let's do a live show. And it's been such an incredible way. One, it just keeps my mind going. And also I'm learning so many things. And, you know, from every one of you, because you're the front line, you're the people on the front line every single day doing this for our guests and doing it for our employees. So thank you very much. Anybody want to say some last words? Any other questions I can ask or answer? Anybody want to ask me a question? Anybody want to make
Anthony, this is Dan Murphy with Florida Restaurant Lodging. So we have several questions coming in. If it's okay, I'd like to direct some questions. Do you have a few more minutes?
Go ahead. I don't have any plane tickets in my name, so I'm good.
All right. Well, I've got a couple questions for you, Anthony, and I've got one for Aaron. Aaron, you mentioned a couple different things you were doing. How are you communicating those safety measures, procedures to your guests at your hotel right now?
Well, for guests, visible cues are the biggest thing we do on property. Anthony did a great job of talking about the pre-arrival. What do we do before people come? And that in our case doesn't really come from the property level. That's coming from Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton. Several others have come out and had great press releases talking about the things that we're working toward and the partners that we're working with on that. And there's a lot of science behind it, and we're really excited to see what those standards look like as they roll out. But it's all about visual cues when guests come in. First is, again, the first thing they should see is signage that talks about what to expect while they're here. The decals on the floors, barriers from getting to the front desk. And, you know, we talked a little bit yesterday about balancing or unbalancing safety and sanitization versus the hospitality side. And we are still a hotel company, so we do want guests to feel comfortable here, and the biggest piece is making sure that they're seeing what we're doing, seeing the sanitizing and seeing those cues to show that all touch points are safe to them in our hotel.
Thank you. Anthony, comments before I ask the next question? Okay. Sheldon, this is for you. Will you be conducting checks with your employees on site or guests?
Sorry, Dan, you're breaking up.
Will you be conducting temperature checks with either your employees or your guests when you reopen? That's from Heiko.
Well, for sure, we are doing that with all of our staff. In fact, we have a central check-in point established that our staff have to come in, first of all, demonstrate that they do have a face mask that they've used to at least come to the property. They'll be asked a list of questions, and then we also will be taking their temperature. And then from that point, they'll be issued a sticker of the day on their name tag, so we know that they've been checked for the day. And then they'll be issued a mask on property that we will provide. And then from there, it'll go back into reverse if they go back on a bus that we provide. The bus driver will be taking temperature checks again through people getting back on the bus. So we are doing that with our guests. At this point in time, that's still up for discussion. I know that some properties are taking that step, but on more of a higher technology basis. So in the near term, what we've done is put up barriers, as Aaron's talked about, in different places of the resort to distance our staff from guests.
Thank you. Aaron, we have another question for you. Will your rooms have less amenities such as coffee makers, magazines, irons, ironing boards, etc.? Again, the question from our friend Heiko.
Yeah, great question. And I believe that AC Hotels is a very minimalist European style hotel, so there is an advantage there. But I do believe that to make our rooms safer, we're going to have to take things out of the rooms, but that's not taking away the amenities. It's putting them on demand or on request. It's all still available, but the more you're putting in the rooms, the more you either have to sanitize or more than likely throw away when a guest leaves, and that becomes very wasteful. So here at our hotel, we have the same level of standard, but it's not all in the room anymore.
Great, thank you, Aaron. This question is for Geoff. Geoff, hope you're still on the line. Does FRLA have any type of programs out there to help hoteliers or restaurateurs that they can count on FRLA to share? Geoff, you out there?
Can you hear me?
Geoff?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the question. Yes, FRLA is partnering with the American Hotel Lodging Association on their Safe Stay program. And as many of you know, the FRLA has a very robust training team in the field that goes on site to perform all manner of safety and sanitation, team building, and other types of training that are going to be critical in this realm moving forward. One of the things that we talk about frequently in the food safety realm, which really applies to this realm, is active managerial control. And this is not just having great standards, but having that commitment at the managerial level that are walking properties and actively ensuring, coaching, and implementing those standards. So FRLA is ready to get out in the field and help implement what is the new paradigm and the market differentiator. So we're standing by ready to help.
Thank you, Geoff. Another great question from Heiko is kind of on the same lines. Are you planning, if anyone wants to answer this question, whether it's Aaron or Sheldon or even Anthony, but are you planning to have some kind of designated uniform or hygiene host visible in uniform? That's kind of a Cintas question as well, but anyone want to tackle that question? In other words, someone in a referee uniform? No, so people can actually see that is a sanitation person, I think is the question. Who wants to take that?
Well, I'll tell you what I've heard. What I've heard is there's a major brand that just promoted, I don't know if it's out there for public consumption yet, a chief hygiene officer. So you talk about having a hygiene employee that's kind of uniformed, and you know that that's the person that can ask the question. I think that's a great point. Gentlemen, what are you doing? Is that something that you're considering, Aaron or Sheldon?
Yes, in fact, we're going to have two different people. We're going to have a hygiene manager for just over all of our staff here to ensure that all the protocols are in place on their side. And then we're also going to have someone on the guest side. And that may be rotating, but we're always going to have a presence of a manager in the lobby that's going to be monitoring and be able to answer guest questions.
I can say from a smaller select brand type property or a hybrid, that would be me. It all comes down to me and leading that, and every associate is part of the hygiene and safety and security part of what we do. We're training everybody to do their part with it.
All right, I'm going to throw another one to Cintas. I'm going to throw you a softball and hit it out of the park. What do you have enough supplies, masks, uniforms, all this other stuff for this big demand out there? Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take
Justin?
that. Yeah, yeah, Cintas is, we're a viable solution for this. We partner with, a significant amount of manufacturers to support those needs. So, I know we've amplified our supplying in hand sanitizers and, these disposable face masks, but, we've been in the industry for a long time supporting our customers with the safety needs that they have. And we're building those relationships even further to be a viable solution for our customers and the people that need us.
Thank you. Anthony, this is a good question for you. When do you plan on traveling? And what are you looking for at those hotels?
100%. Matter of fact, I'm working on something that might get me on a plane sooner rather than later. We're putting together a documentary about the industry, which I really haven't talked about. So I may, depending on when we're doing that, I may be getting on a plane pretty soon. If I get authority from my wife, that is, because we're a pretty tight lockdown here at the Melchiorri household. But yes, absolutely. But again, my responsibility to my fellow passengers on a plane or to myself is not only all the great things that Cintas can do and all the great things that we can do as hospitality experts, but what am I going to do as I travel? So absolutely, I'm going to travel with my little kit that I got from Cintas, and I'm going to make sure that I'm safe. But I am going to travel, and I think what you're seeing across the country is you're seeing bookings going up. There was one of my clients said that her bookings at this time last year were lower than they are right now for July and August, which that blew the back of my brains out. I was really, really surprised by that. So absolutely. And what I'm going to be looking for is exactly what Sheldon and Aaron said. And I got to applaud both of you because I speak to people every single day, and you both are on top of it like no one else I've spoken to. Sheldon, those little stickers on your name tag saying that that person was tested, that you're doing that as a guest, and that's part of your paperwork that I read. I would be so impressed that you have somebody monitoring employees' behavior and guest behavior. Aaron, when you said that I take responsibility for the entire property, that's what we need to do to make sure people feel safe once they start traveling. So absolutely, I'm going to start traveling as quickly as possible. However, when I walk in, I'm not going to be looking for service. Service to me is going to be, are you keeping everyone safe? That to me is service. I want to know what your cleaning procedures are. So yeah, I will be asking those questions. Before, if I've ever walked to your property, I've never left a bad comment. I've never complained. Once I've complained, but that was there was mold in the bathroom. I can't deal with mold. But anyway, so I don't complain. I'm not a big complainer. I don't complain. And most hotels I stay at are very nice hotels, and they take good care of me and my crew. However, going forward, I will be a person that's going to start holding people accountable, because I think, thank God I'm in this position. I'm uniquely qualified, I think, to have a voice. And I think that I need to use that voice to ensure that I take the lessons I'm learning from Sheldon and from Aaron and articulate that. I haven't had a creative thought in my brain in 30 years. I steal everything from you guys. And I think that's what kind of my job is, to make sure that I'm expressing what I'm hearing around the country.
Anthony, another question for you. I'm a small hotelier, maybe a bed and breakfast. These are very costly things to do. Any suggestions on how we can adapt?
I said something pretty direct to someone on one of my shows. I won't repeat it, but basically, cost per occupied room is going to go up. You just heard the Best Western CEO say that he's going to see costs go up, and we're going to have to deal with that. However, there are going to be opportunities to save as well, because there's not as much touch points. You're not going to have housekeepers in the rooms every single day. But to be able to sanitize and keep your hotel clean is the #1 priority. But as general managers, you get that title general manager because you can generally manage. That means you're able to give great service, you're able to give great hygiene, and you're also being able to keep your P&L afloat so you can keep the hotel afloat. That's your job, you know. And you know, I never look at my P&L when I'm a general manager because I know it. Because to what Aaron said, I walk around. I see where there's waste. I see where it's really important. Hygiene and spending money on keeping that hotel clean and safe is exactly where you need to be doing. And then the other points that you can maybe pull back from would be, obviously food and beverage is going to change, housekeeping service is going to change. So there are some points where you can save, but you know, one place you're not going to want to skip right now is hygiene. And everything that Sheldon's doing, I'd imagine it's not, you know, it's not less than it was before, but it's critical. It's absolutely critical. And so as a great general manager or an owner, it's your job to be able to balance that P&L to the best of your ability. But
Thank you. What about, and this is for Aaron or Sheldon, what about, I know you might have mentioned it, we may have skipped over it, but I just want to make sure. What about areas such as pools, cafes, beaches, you know, that are not so close to the hotel that might be a little bit out of your domain? How are you handling those? I know, Sheldon, you got a lot of beaches.
Well, we have the space. You know, with 4 pool areas, we're going to be able to remove half the chairs, for example. We're able to enforce the distancing amongst people. We're going to, for example, we're going to have to close our hot tubs in the interim. You know, it's just too close a space. The cafes and all that, again, we're going to follow the guidelines. We're going to 50%, but we've just got to monitor, and we're going to have to spread things out. We're trying some interesting ways with our marketplace. People are going to be ready to go food. I think that's what the public's going to be looking for. We are going to still have sit-down options, but again, they're going to be limited and only by reservation, so that we can control the amount of people who go into a space. Aaron, do you have anything else to add?
I think you did well there. No, this is something, you know, we're most focused on operating the hotel and the future of restaurants. Number one, restaurants are standalone restaurants are struggling as well, but we're doing more of the to-go, the grab and go, those types of things right now. We're going to have to re-engineer all of our offerings moving forward, but that's sort of the next phase of what we're doing in the operation.
One last question. We have a couple minutes here. I want to close. I want to go each one 30 seconds or less. Alex, we'll start with you. What would you like to tell your hotels and your restaurateurs out there? One last piece of advice that you can give them.
Well, I just want to say thank you to FRLA for allowing us to have this platform to talk about all of these topics that are so important to all of our hoteliers. And thank you also, Aaron, Sheldon, and Anthony for being here today. I just want our customers and FRLA members to know that we're here for you. We can support you in this time of need, and we want to, you know, it's never been so important for us to come together as a community and work together as partners. So thank you all, and we appreciate the time.
We'll take it. Sheldon, one last piece. What would you like to tell your guests out there about your place?
Well, I think the biggest thing to know is that, you know, we are going to make it a priority to be a safe environment. And, you know, and for the hoteliers, I have to tell everyone that, you know, it's always easy to jump on revenue, but I've always learned through all these difficult times that we've had, nothing like this, but if you focus on doing the right things, the revenue will come. Absolutely every time. And if you cut the corners, you're just going to pay for it in the long term. And we're here to hold, you know, to have this resort open for the long term for our owners and for our guests.
Sheldon, I wish I could give you a virtual hug. That was perfectly said.
That was really sweet. Aaron, any last minute comments to your customers or to your folks?
Both, actually. Yeah, Sheldon, well said. I mean, this is a long-term game, so we're in it for the long term, not for results right now. There's no winning right now, but for the rest of hoteliers in Florida, hey, we're in this together. And I think Anthony did a great job of saying, you know, our success as a group of hoteliers is success to our individuals as well. So if one of us does it wrong or cuts corners, then that's gonna hurt us all and set us back. So let's all do the right thing.
Thank you, thank you, Aaron. Justin, any last minute words? Any
Yeah,
advice?
I mean, I think we, you know, with Aaron and with what Sheldon are saying, you know, we're talking about guest confidence, but what we're finding is that we're reinstilling confidence in the general managers and property owners for the stuff and the services that we're providing, that they are ready, right? That their properties are prepared, that they're partnering with Cintas and to be able to, you know, have their operations ready to go. And we're having a lot of customers reaching out, and even people we've never worked with, you know, in the hospitality industry, that are finding that we have the solutions that they're looking for, you know, within one company. So, you know, my word of advice is to reach out to us and let us show you what we can do for you.
Thank you, Justin. Anthony, you're going to close, and then I'm going to have Carol Dover close. If you've got one last piece of advice for everybody, and thank you so much.
You know, we've been needing to do a lot of things. We've been needing to keep our family safe, ourselves safe, keeping our businesses afloat. We need to do that. Once we start opening, we want to travel. We're in a want business. People want us. People want our travel. People want our hotels. People want to go away because those are the moments that they remember for the rest of their lives. So we've been needing to do a lot of stuff that we didn't want to do, but we're going to want to travel. And we owe it to the community to do it the right way. So I've learned so much from everybody on this program. So thank you to Cintas. Thank you to you know, everyone on this panel. Truly appreciate it. And I've learned so much. So again, thank you. But this is a want business, and people are going to want us. And if we do it right, they'll keep coming back.
I forgot, I left out Geoff. Geoff, anything you want to say before Carol closes?
Yeah, just train, and active managerial control, and listen to what your guests want from you.
Thank you, Geoff. Carol, you out there? Would you like to tell everybody goodbye and thank everybody?
Yes, thank you, Dan. What a great webinar. Thank you all. And Anthony, like you said, we're in the want business. So now we want to get this state back open and get tourists back and get life back to normal. But all of you had such great advice. Again, Alex, Justin, thank you for Cintas and all that you do to help out FRLA during good times and bad times, I will say. So you always know who your friends are when the chips are down and people come to your rescue. So thank you all for that. And to the rest of our panelists, Aaron and Sheldon, thank you. And to the team for putting this together. Y'all have a wonderful week, and I hope that we will be seeing you in person soon.
Carol, real quick, I forgot to tell everyone, this is recorded. We'll be sending out a recording of this webinar. Also, a lot of you did ask questions. We'll send those to Cintas to answer. We'll get back to you on those. So there were a lot of questions. We didn't get to answer all of them. Anthony, thank you. Everybody, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Class is ended.
Thank you.
Go in peace.